All right, so whoever wants to convene in the absence of Rick can start.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. The boys, you want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve an electronic meeting of the Soil and Water Conservation District for November the 17th.
The wording has to be, make sure it's shared. This wording here.
Highlighted. Approval to hold an electronic meeting. Oh, is that the one in blue?
Yes.
I can't read that.
It is the Headwaters Soil and Water District Board of Directors certifies that the nature of the state of emergency caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, as declared by the Governor of Virginia, makes it impracticable or unsafe for the board to assemble in a single physical location, and further that the purpose of this meeting, including all agenda items, are reflected in the meeting's prepared agenda, is to transact or discuss business that is statutorily required or is necessary to continue operations of the board and at the discharge of the board's lawful purposes, duties, and responsibilities.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion properly made and seconded to approve the electronic meeting. Any further discussion? All right, let's go down the list. Wendy?
Aye.
DeBois?
Aye.
Buzz? Buzz? How do you vote? Bobby?
Aye.
Darren?
Aye.
No problem here. We got 4 affirmative. Buzz, are you out there? I guess we lost Buzz too.
Otis, are you not a voting member?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Otis, would you not make 5?
Yeah, but I guess I do vote on it.
You're a director.
All right, I vote aye too. Motion passed. All right, moving right along, declaration. Any additions to the agenda? I have one, and that will be under the dams report, an item about the concrete saw that I need to talk about. Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October meeting?
I'll make
that motion.
Go ahead, DeBose.
I'm sorry. I'll make that motion. We approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion? List here. Let's go
I have
back.
something. Hang on just a second. Do we need to include the special called meeting we held at the end of the month in that as well?
Either that or we can do them as separate.
Okay, I'll leave that up to you guys. It's either or for me. So
I'll amend my motion to include October 20th, 27th, and 30th.
I have a second on that.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve all the meetings that we had in October to finally get a quorum. Go back up the list. Darren,
Aye.
Bobby,
Aye.
Buzz. Yes, Buzz is still not with us. DeBose,
Aye.
Wendy,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Motion passed.
Someone did just join by phone. Who is that? And I can change your name.
It's correct, but I can't get through.
Okay.
Sounds like Rick.
Yep, I'm gonna rename him so we know who it is. All right, there we go.
But Otis, you continue.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Tell Otis to continue. I'm gonna keep trying to get the internet up and do it on computer. I've got Sue's phone, which is almost like for me nothing. So y'all go ahead.
Okay. We're down to treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report is pretty much right on target, nothing unusual, nothing outstanding. So I make a move, I'd like to make a motion to approve for audit the treasurer's report for the month ending 10/31/2020.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion to approve the treasurer's report for audit. Let me go back down the list. Wendy,
Aye.
DeBose,
Aye.
Buzz,
Notice, according to my screen, Buzz is on, but he's muted.
Aye.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, sorry.
Buzz, we're voting for on the treasurer's report. So it's down to you. Do you approve or disapprove? Lost him again.
Approve?
Okay. Bobby,
Aye.
Darren,
Aye.
and Rick. We have enough votes for approval. Moving right along, budget and actual.
Budget and actual, just it's presented appropriately, and that's really, I guess, all there is to say.
Agency partner reports, DCR Mark.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I am here. Hope you all can hear me well. You've got, oh, thank you so much, Rachel. You've got my written report before you. I guess, Rick, you can't see it on Sue's phone, but at any rate, I'll have a few highlights.
I've got it in hand.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed. The second quarter disbursement letters were sent out to the district, so you should have those funds wired in next couple of weeks. There's a little blurb about tax credit administration. This I add to my November report on an annual basis. We sometimes get tangled up in knots about the administration of tax credits, and I feel as though I've discussed this with some of you recently, but at any rate, it's important that the technical certification date for a tax credit, for a 2020 tax credit, be recorded in 2020 in the tracking program, and that when your staff spits out a tax credit certificate, the signature date on that certificate also be 2020. So there can be a little bit of less end of the year stress dealing with tax credits, particularly, really only if staff is looking at the bills and sees that a tax credit is eligible for an increase. You know, tax credits and BMP cost share are approved routinely month to month throughout the year. So you've got a value, but if that value needs to rise or is eligible for an increase, then that needs board approval. And if your staff discovers this and it's the day after the December district board meeting, you might be in a little bit of a pickle. Not that it's the end of the world, but your participant is expected, if your participant is expecting a 2020 tax credit, then it may be helpful for the district to collectively authorize the chair or the BMP committee to handle some late December approvals of eligible cost increases. May not happen at all, may happen only once, but it can cause a little bit of stress. So think of that. There are some references in my paragraph to the cost share manual itself. Review this. We invariably every year, I'll get tangled up with a district on this particular matter. So think it through, and I would rely on staff to kind of shepherd the district along here. And again, maybe at this meeting or the December meeting, you might consider delegating some authority for last minute quirks that pop up during the holiday season right after your December board meeting. You've got some virtual training blitzes. This has been a good season for virtual training, that's for sure. We're kind of getting used to it. Of course, a number of those dates have passed. You've got some staff participating in technical training today. You see there on the November 16, November 17, some technical training. Wanted to make sure if directors were unable to participate in the FOIA training yesterday that was offered through the VACO, Virginia Association of Counties. You've got another opportunity on the 15th. Noted there. If you'll scroll down a little bit, Rachel, other dates. On November the 4th, the full Technical Advisory Committee met and unanimously approved the WP2P practice for dealing with portable stream fencing, as mandated by the General Assembly. You've heard me talk about that issue for a number of months now. And Aaron Lucas is a member of the Stream Protection and Forestry Subcommittee, so he's aware. And if anybody wants a copy of that WP2P spec, let me or Aaron know, and we can send it to you. It is something that will go to the state board at their March 2021 meeting for consideration or inclusion in the PY22 cost share manual. That would be for the program year that starts next July. December 1, there's a note to date, our stream protection and forestry webinar 1 to 4. And if you're at all interested at what this subcommittee will be, what DCR will be recommending in response to the various suggestions that came into this subcommittee in the past spring, tune into that webinar. If you want the context, let me know. It is merely an informational webinar sharing with those who participate what DCR is doing or recommending regarding the suggestions that came in from the districts last spring. Don't forget, y'all need to deal with district officer elections in December or January. That's just a little bit of housekeeping for y'all. I have a few other things I just jotted down on paper here I want to draw your attention to. Your two new staffers, Christian and Matthew, participated in the VAX 101 for Directors webinar last week. I think David Bryan put together an excellent presentation. That's one of the, I think it was part of the virtual training blitz associations hosted. At any rate, I participated as well in David Bryan's PowerPoint presentation is available, as is a recording of that webinar. And I would encourage all directors, associate and otherwise, to take a look at that material. It's, I thought, again, David did an excellent job with it. Let's see. And one other thing, just to bring you up to speed, some of you may know, some of you may not, that DCR is dealing with the definition of a perennial stream. And I'm looking for my piece of paper on that matter. Oh, yeah. Yesterday,
Hey, Mark, we lost you.
Yep, we did.
Mark, I think you're muted.
all right. You know what I did? I put my notebook on top of my keyboard. I think that's what muted me. I apologize. Anyway, the last little piece of information I want to draw to your attention was that I did send out to district staff and district chairs in the area that I cover yesterday. I sent it out yesterday, a little blurb from Christine Watlington, our policy guru in Richmond, about draft guidance document on identification of perennial streams. There is the Bay Bill, the so-called Bay Bill that the General Assembly passed this past spring, among other things, requires that the Soil and Water Board establish a methodology for identifying perennial streams, do this by December 31st of 2020. So naturally, the state board turns to DCR to work on this. And there was a webinar I think on the 4th. And I forwarded information yesterday about a comment period. There's information there for folks to look at the guidance document. This definition, this methodology for determining the perenniality of a stream remotely, that is to say, without a field investigation, is critical. Creating this methodology is part of the so-called Bay Bill. And there's references in the Bay Bill to perennial streams, particularly when it comes to the potential for the requirement of owners of 20 or more bovine to exclude their livestock from perennial streams if we fail to meet the Bay cleanup goals by December of 2025. So in that email, I also sent the copy of the Bay Bill. Just pay attention to this stuff. You've got through December 9 to make comments on the methodology that DCR is proposing to the state board at its December meeting. State board meets on December 16th. So pay attention. If you need more information, let me know. And Otis, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. On the tax credit certificates, what's the board's pleasure on how to handle it? Do you want the chairman to go ahead and approve any that come in before year end, or the BMP committee, or the executive committee?
Rhonda and I will that'll be an agenda item for December.
Okay.
Yeah, we normally put that, and also we have a nominating committee for officers.
Well, nominating committee has got to be done. I just made a note today. December meeting for nominating committee is too late.
And Otis, this is Mark. I've got to kick off shortly before 10:30.
Okay. Well, you got 7 minutes left.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you, Marty. USDA and NRCS, Bobby.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, everybody. I'll be brief on this report. NRCS is preparing to roll out both the EQIP program and the CSP program. They've told us that December 18th is the deadline to sign up for EQIP. At least the first round of applications will be batched at that point and then selected for funding. There may be a second or even a third group, which they haven't given us the deadline for that. But if we spend all the money on the group that has their applications in by December 18th, which is a possibility, then there won't be a second sign-up period. But as of now, the first sign-up period is December 18th, and that's for EQIP. CSP will be shortly thereafter. And they've told us that EQIP funding will be the same as last year, the same amount of money. And they've actually requested an increase in the CSP program. So that's not set in stone yet, but that's what we're requesting. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. That was short and sweet.
Yeah.
You need to give Mark some lessons.
I heard that.
Virginia Cooperative Extension met. He's not here. I didn't see Patty Allender for the Virginia Department of Forestry. Barry Younts from U.S. Forest Service not here. Leslie is not here for the Planning Commission. Department of DQ, Sarah is not here. Sam, I think I saw your name.
I am here. Yep. Just got back from maternity leave about a month ago. So
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
thank you. So little girl, her name's Adeline, 4 months, and she's all giggles and playing with feet right now. So fun stage. All right, short and sweet for us, catching back up on everything. Obviously, you guys know we changed our name to Department of Wildlife Resources. So here on after, I will try to remember that's what our new name is and use it. Our offices are still closed to the public and will probably be for the foreseeable future. We do have a great DWR website and mobile website page that people can do basically everything they need to with licenses, etc. Through those, so they don't actually need to come into the office for much, which is nice. Definitely our use of the licenses and access permits, if you're not a hunter or fisher or boatsman, but you still want to go on the wildlife management area properties, is up, since obviously people can't do a whole lot of things. They still want to go outside. So we're seeing increased uses of all of our areas across the state. As for now, though, we are not restricting any of those properties. We did have to a little bit at the beginning of COVID towards the east of the state, just because some of our parking areas, people were basically blocking traffic trying to use them. But here in the west, no changes, open as usual. We are not having any restrictions in the hunting season or fishing. All of that is standard and going as normal. And it is now officially prescribed fire season. So we are back to doing fire while we still can. We do use a lot of partners like Forest Service, DOF, Nature Conservancy, DCR, Heritage. So some of our partner agencies do have some restrictions on burning as far as how many people are allowed to gather, that sort of thing. But thankfully for us, the nature of fire, everybody is very separate and you're all wearing masks or something for smoke anyways. So we're able to do that safely. A couple fires that we are trying to plan because everybody is so far behind. Looks like the weather, we may be able to burn on the Goshen Wildlife Management Area. It is the southern end of the WMA. So it is still Augusta County, but right on the line with Rockbridge. There is a high elevation native field, one of the few in the state that's there, about 20 acres or so, called the Meadow Grounds. So we are trying to get that finished up tomorrow so that hopefully we can burn it on Friday. The weather's looking really good. So you may see, well, you may not see a whole lot of smoke. It's a grass field. It's going to go really quick, but you may hear a little bit about that. So Friday, we're trying to get a burn done. But other than that, we've got a couple burns we're trying to do in Highland County and one in Bath County, but we'll see. With COVID, everything else, we actually stopped burning come middle of April, just because we didn't want to be putting smoke up with COVID, it being a lung disease, to endanger anybody. But the Department of Forestry has since allowed everybody to resume burning, just dependent upon what other agencies' restrictions are in order to do those. So that is pretty much everything we're doing right now, unless anybody has questions.
Thank you, Sam. Any questions of the Department of Wildlife Resources? We have it correctly on the agenda, by the way.
You do. I saw it on there when I first logged on. I was very impressed. I will be here, but I'm going to go ahead and mute myself then if you need anything.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Department of Health, Jason's not here. Chesapeake Bay Foundation, Austin is not here. Friends of the Middle River, Dave, I see you on here.
Morning, everyone. Happy to report that the final 2020 cleanup has finally been concluded, and with a cleanup of Lewis Creek on October 30th, which was deemed the Halloween clean. And this was number 5 of 5 Lewis Creek cleanups that we did this year. It was headed up by none other than our own Mr. Buzz Easterling. Thank you, Buzz. And just noteworthy that Buzz participated in no less than 3 of the 5 Lewis Creek cleanups this year. And therefore, Buzz has been recognized by Friends of the Middle River as our cleanup volunteer of the year. And again, thanks so much for your efforts.
You'll be in charge of it next year, Buzz.
My wife wants me to volunteer to clean more at home now.
Next, wanted to report on Shenandoah Green's Stanton Legacy Tree Project. There were 2 plantings in October, and they planted somewhat less than a third of their total goal of 2,743 trees, which means that they have, excuse me, have over 2/3 of the remaining 2,743 trees to be planted in the spring of 21. So it's still a major effort upcoming next spring. Next, the Pure Water Forum held their first annual virtual meeting on November 13th, Friday the 13th. What could go wrong with that, right? And Friends of the Mill River and Shenandoah Green collaborated on a virtual presentation. It was a 3-part presentation on plastic pollution. First part was reduction, second cleanup, and the third was testing for microplastics. And Georgie Tomasato collaborated with me on a virtual presentation. And Otis, I believe I saw your smiling face as an attendee. So if you have anything bad to say, keep it to yourself. If you want to heap accolades on us, then we're willing to listen. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I wasn't able to attend the meeting itself, but I did get there in time for the board meeting.
Okay. Anyway, then lastly, the Virginia Plastics Pollution Prevention Network is having a virtual meeting this afternoon at 3 p.m. Anyone is interested in finding out more about plastics pollution, and it is huge, believe me. Google it, go on their website, and they have all kinds of good data and ideas about prevention, cleanup, etc. Actually Shenandoah Green and Friends of Mill River have collaborated on a membership, and we're the only ones to date that are participating from the valley. The rest of the state refers to us as the Valley Boys. We would love to have somebody else jump in there so we can have more representation if anyone's interested. And that's the end of my report for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Any questions, Dave? All right, moving right along. District reports, dams. We had, or DCR presented a meeting on the 30% design for Waynesboro Nurseries rehab. Where it stands right now, it looks like they're going to be widening the auxiliary spillway about 40 feet, raise the dam about 1 foot, and replace the primary spillway, the riser, and also relocate the road. They took a lot of comments from the landowners, because that's the area that the solar farm is going to go in. So they've gone back to the drawing board to see how they can work with landowners. Stony Creek, what does IFB stand for, Michael?
Invitation for bid.
Okay. That's, what did you say that was?
It was for abutment clearing at Stony Creek. We had the site showing yesterday, and we had a total of 5 contractors show up. The work's going to be completed by March 1st. Still waiting on the state to give us an alterations permit. So there's really no rush with that, but that's currently in the works.
Okay, great. Elkhorn, U.S. Forest Service is doing control burn out there, and Todd Lake. And the last item that I have is Michael wants to sell the concrete saw that we have that was provided with the dam emergency trailer, and use the proceeds to buy another chainsaw and a pole saw. The dam emergency trailer we received 3 years and a couple of months ago. At the time, the agreement was that we could, after 3 years, we could do anything with that trailer that we wanted to, disassemble it, sell it, whatever. So the 3 years is up. This concrete saw that Michael wants to sell is brand spanking new, never been used, never seen any gas. It's worth about $1,000. And I guess we do have a procedure on how to advertise it and sell it. So I would make a motion that we sell the concrete saw and purchase new tools.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? This trailer, by the way, is just loaded with equipment, the first class equipment too. No Harbor Freight stuff in there.
Otis, are we going to set the price, or are we going to let a bid process?
I think it goes out for bids, doesn't it, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, we could do the bidding, which is, it's more easier just to list it online for what it's valued and see if it sells. According to the purchasing policy, that's one of the options depending on board approval. So I would suggest listing it on Craigslist or Marketplace for a price and see what it does. That would be the easiest option. If you go online bidding, it's more complicated to do that for something so small. And if you sell it local, you'll probably sell it fast to a construction company.
That's fine with me. I was just asking.
Okay. All right, we ready to vote? Rick?
Yeah.
I assume that was a yes. Darren?
Yes.
Bobby? Bobby, you still there?
Wait, did you say?
Oh, okay. Bobby, was that you?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Buzz?
Yes.
DeBose?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Motion passed. All right, Michael, you got her.
All right, thank you.
Hey, that's all I have. Moving on, unless there are any questions on dams. Moving on to finance legislative, Wendy?
Okay, so the finance committee met yesterday morning. We've gotten a request from Waynesboro as far as for the local funds. And that's due beginning of January, and Stanton and Augusta will be coming shortly thereafter. So we went ahead and discussed what we would like to put out there, and we're gonna stay with a level funding amount from last year. It's, you know, it will be tough as far as all the communities to meet their budgets, et cetera. So all that considered, the total for all of them will be therefore about 162,476, I believe. Rhonda, correct me. But Waynesboro is will be 47,946. So we did go ahead and approve that. Purchase of new computer and printer. I know that we're looking at getting a printer for over where Michael and Christian are, making it easier for them to generate stuff and less traffic back and forth into the common area. That's been budgeted, you know, it's budgeted. And the new computer, Rhonda, help me out there with that.
That is the new one for Aaron, and Rachel has been working on getting quotes for that. Rachel, have you heard back from IT?
Yeah, they did get us a quote. It includes a 5-year protection plan and Microsoft Word. It's a little bit under, I don't remember what we paid for the common computer, but Aaron's computer is 7 years old and is no longer wanting to work ArcGIS. So according to IT, this is kind of the only, they tried to uninstall it, reinstall it, didn't do anything, worked for a little while. So this is kind of our next option since this computer is that old. It is about a little bit less than 3,000, but it is also, it is under our budgeted amount for tools and expenses in that account.
Okay.
We need a motion.
No, it's budgeted.
So it's a
Okay.
budgeted item.
Yeah.
All right.
And that makes sense. That computer systems, yeah, it's almost like planned obsolescence. I mean, it just things increase so much, and what's required as far as memory and et cetera, it's unbelievable. So,
But yeah, we might want to start looking. I don't know how old some of these other computers are. Something we might need to start looking at.
What's the recommended rotation for computer for the county? Rachel?
The 5-year protection.
5-year. Okay.
okay. And then there was a sponsorship request from Virginia Forage and Grassland Council for, I guess, I'm assuming it's online, but session they're having January 18th through 22nd of 21. It's in the packet that was mailed out, I think, to everybody. The theme of building resilience and grass-based farm. They have basic sponsorship and then a major sponsorship. Basic is 150 plus major. There's only 5 slots for major. I'm thinking, I mean, I'd like to propose that we do a basic sponsorship, which is half page on digital sponsor booklet. That doesn't seem like much as far as breaking the bank, et cetera. So I don't know if we need to make a motion for that.
I think this is in the budget. Judy, do you remember what we've done in the past?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't be sorry because I'm in the same boat. I don't remember either.
I can't remember. I know we've always sponsored it, but I can't tell you to what degree.
I
Okay.
think it is varied year to year.
Okay.
So is that in the budget or do we have to vote on it?
Say what, Otis?
Is that budgeted or do we have to vote on it?
Yeah, that I don't know.
It's probably not budgeted.
No, I
So
don't
we-
think it is.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we sponsor 150 for the Virginia Forge and Grassland Council.
I'll second that.
And we have a motion for the 150 to Virginia, whatever the name that was.
Forge and Grassland Council.
Grassland Council. Those in favor, Wendy,
Yes.
DeBose,
Yes.
Buzz,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
and Rick.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. All right, Wendy, you got her.
Okay, so that's all I got for that now. Personnel. So I guess we're still waiting on a cell phone for Matthew, so he can go incognito. Rhonda, you got, or Rachel, y'all know, got any idea when we'll get one?
We keep, everything's virtual. So we keep emailing and they just email us a confirmation saying they're working on the request. So I just second guess. We got 6 phones faster in the heat of the pandemic in April than we're getting one now, but
That's kind of wild, yeah.
yeah. So he's still teleworking to the best of his ability. I have his personal cell. If anybody needs to get in touch with him, he said that is okay. For as far as staff and directors kind of thing. He is available by email and he is hooked up on the Sonic wall, but still.
So this is coming via who? Who is it?
Verizon's governmental service.
Okay. Jeez.
And I don't think, Rhonda hasn't said, I know the Verizon bill just came yesterday. I don't think it's shown an increase in a new line in anything yet either, so.
So
Okay.
it's the same price. And I think John had mentioned one day last week that the people from Verizon had emailed, like you said, basically the confirmation, and they're saying that it was a mistake on their end with the phone and that they're correcting it. So hopefully we'll receive it soon.
Okay, that'd be good, yeah. An oops. Okay. Okay. And then
If it would, tell them if it would help, tell them you've got a chairman getting ready to go from virtual to real and see them.
They'll call security there, Rick.
It's all right. I'll get to them.
one way or the other. IT security training needed for tracking access for new technicians. I guess I probably ought to let Rachel or Rhonda address that too.
They just got their access actually today, so.
Yay!
They're good to go. We were a little worried. Rhonda was the lucky one that did not have to redo IT security training. The rest of us do for DCR. And they were redoing the training to make it videos. And because of that, we kind of got on hold that Matthew and Christian couldn't gain access to tracking as quickly as Rhonda could kind of ease into that. So now they're all set. They can truck on.
Okay, wonderful. Yay. All right. That's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. Moving on to education, Jim.
Sorry, I'm late. Anyway, in spite of COVID, apparently we're still continuing our education program, although virtually. And Rachel, you want to tell us about the trainings that you participated in?
Sure. So I think I mentioned last month, we are combining with Area 2 districts to host a combined area level environthon competition. Districts still have the option to host a local if they need to. However, you only really need to if you have more than 3 teams, which I highly doubt we will see this year. We still have Fort Defiance who's interested in competing, which is wonderful. Because of that, there will be a virtual training for students and teams on January 30th. That's a Saturday. How that's going to look is we have asked agency partner personnel that normally are our judges to create videos, and then they will have an hour time block. They're available for live question and answer with the teams. The special topic is the same as last year, which is local water resources management. So that did not change. The oral presentation, according to the association, the prompt itself, the question will be changing. After they have their virtual training, since everything is virtual at all levels this year, the virtual competition will be actually a week to allow the students to have time to get together. We felt that it was kind of difficult for 5 students and a coach to all Zoom for 5 separate 30-minute sessions in one day. So we're going to give them a week as long as they complete those tests. They're using a secure testing software called Class Marker. So everything is graded automatically. It's time. So they really want to look stuff up to cheat. They're really not going to have the time. And like we said, their coach should be with them to hold them to an honor code. So that's kind of it for Envirothon. Jim, did you want to talk about the Leadership Institute?
I don't know that much about it, except that we do have a candidate, Jacob Martin from Riverheads, is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
High school, and he will be in residence somewhere, or will that be a virtual training also?
As far as for the association's Leadership Conservation Institute, he was accepted into that program, so he will have a personal project he has to complete. The district, we will serve as his mentor and help guide him through that. I know he's interested in wildlife, ecology, river ecology, and management. So I have not heard yet what kind of he's thinking as a project he wants to take on this year.
Yeah.
But we'll work to get him with the right, if he needs to get in contact with other partners, help him with that. Also, he has time in his schedule next semester with Augusta County to do a mentorship experience where he would spend half his day normally in a place of employment, almost like an internship. Because he's doing the Conservation Leadership Institute, he has asked if we would be willing to also be his mentorship program through that, which I told him we were willing to work with him ways he can. Obviously, we do not know yet. Augusta County is still in school on a hybrid schedule. He does not know how that's going to affect his mentorship experience.
What year is he in, Rachel? Do you know?
He's a senior.
Senior?
Yeah.
And you had volunteered to mentor him next semester, if that works out.
If it works out at some point, it might be virtual. I'd love to get him here to the office, at least meet our staff, maybe attend a few site visits that are outside in the field at least. But I know the Leadership and Conservation Institute kicks off here before Thanksgiving with a virtual orientation. So a lot of that is virtual. Just in general, for those that have followed the Leadership Institute, normally they have 9 participants. This year they have 20.
Wow.
They don't know if that's because schools are virtual. Students have more time on their hands looking for ways to increase their resume the way they can senior year when they have a lot of other options they normally do that are canceled or postponed. But we're excited. He's excited. Anxious to see what his project comes up with. One of the requirements he does has is he will have to attend one of our board meetings. So you all will get a chance to either meet him in person or virtually, depending on how that goes.
And Camp Horizons?
That was last month. We had our first, I guess, of the calendar year, actually, underground classroom visit. It was 170 students They are Rockingham County or Harrisonburg City students that attend Camp Horizons at their 2 locations to help with virtual learning. Either they don't have reliable internet at home or adult supervision, that kind of thing. So they have the option to go there. So on Wednesdays, they kind of have a fun day. So we got to bring the trailer and spend time with them, which went really well. Everybody was safe. Everybody still learned. It was a good day.
And we're happy to report that the trailer is bedded down for the winter and cozy under its new cover, and
I bet it was
unveil
fun.
that in the springtime.
I bet it was fun putting the cover on.
I don't think Michael and I and Rhonda were the staff on. We did not help. However, we now have learned that the cover actually ripped when putting it on. But I think the actual company is willing to pay to fix it. So they're supposed to be sending us a shipping label that we can ship it back and then to fix the cover. So.
Did you learn any new words while you were putting it on?
I think our new staff, that was one of their jobs. So they.
Okay. All right, I think that concludes our report unless anybody has any questions.
Okay, thank you, Jim and Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel.
Dragon Coast Chair Bobby.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First up is a non-compliance issue. Rachel, is this the one where the person is applying for an animal waste facility and his neighbor called us and said that livestock were in the buffer? Is that this case?
Yes, and it was also the case, this participant has 3 previous stream exclusion projects starting cost year 2011. So that was actually one that was verified by Jason Wilfong and Matthew Baker, one of our staffs, actually the last week of October, and they noticed it was uncompliant. There was one small section of a pond that has a trough that actually serves it. We found conservation assistance notes that a previous employee said that was okay. The participant paid for half of that out of his pocket and agreed that he would not graze it until after lifespan he was planning to. However, there was animals in that field, and then across the road there is a field where this animal waste building would be going, and that stream exclusion section was also showed signs of being grazed. Per our secondary considerations, participants with the issues of non-compliance are not given high priority to receive additional funding. So he is on here on this list that's highlighted. This is his practice. He does cap out at the $100,000 cost share. Staff, we will be giving him, per the DCR manual, his verbal warning and follow up with his verified letter that he is out of compliance on his stream exclusion practices that are still in lifespan, and that he has to get them back into compliance. But before we did that, we wanted to make sure you all had the option to weigh in before we approve his animal waste facility, if you deem it's worthy, or any other additional comments related to that we should include in his letter.
Is there a deadline on the animal waste facility, Rachel?
There is no deadline. Everything is ready, that he is ready for approval. You do not have to approve him. You can approve him. Like I said, per secondary considerations, participants like this do not receive priority funding.
How about the weather? Is that going to be a factor in approving the animal waste facility?
It should not be. It's your call when you approve them. There's no deadline to approve anybody.
Yeah, most likely, DeBose, it would be, he probably wouldn't get started on that animal waste facility until springtime anyway, just because, construction and contractors being busy and a lot of different issues. So I would say if we don't approve him this month and we approve him next month, it's most likely not going to have an effect on his installation of this practice. Now,
I'd like to see what his response is to the letter, and I'd like to suggest we have a registered letter that he has to sign, so we know what the response is before we approve the animal waste facility.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear some other people's opinion.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I think we should remove him off this month's list. And I do agree with a certified letter, send him that, and then have staff verify that the issue was resolved before he gets on next month's list.
Do you have any sort of time frame you would like us to make sure he is compliant before approving?
At least 1 week before next month's meeting, I'd say.
So he has a month to get into compliance. So kind of I just want to make sure I word his letter that.
Yeah. I would be in favor of giving him, at least 2 weeks to solve the issue.
Is that enough time for him to solve the issue?
Oh, I would think so, DeBose. All he needs to do is chase him out and shut the gate. So.
All right, I didn't know whether he had to build some more fence or had to repair it or what.
No, he just leaves his gates open and he's grazing his buffer. So.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fine.
That's not compliant. It's up to you all if you want to monitor him to make sure he stays compliant. I know us at staff, our kind of recommendation was, like you said, to kind of table his approval until he shows that he is compliant with his other practices.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that we.
Okay, I was just going to say, yeah, I'm not someone that shows that they're not working diligently at complying with things that have already been approved, et cetera. That does not bode well with me. So I'm thinking in terms of, would sit on this for a little bit.
I'll make a motion that we withdraw the approval for the animal waste facility until it's been resolved, his issues, and put it on the December agenda.
I second that.
All right, motion to withdraw this was an animal waste facility, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would be contract 41-21-0046 for Rhonda's minutes.
Oh, okay, the one highlighted in yellow. Okay, motion made and properly seconded. Any further discussion?
Do we need to include the?
Yeah, I'd like to.
That motion.
Say that again.
Do we need to include having the certified letter sent to this into that motion?
That's actually a requirement per the manual. So.
Okay.
So. Okay, ready to
I'd
vote?
like to add that. No, I'm not ready to vote yet.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Otis?
Yeah.
Okay, I think involved in that letter, staff needs to commit to a schedule, meaning monthly visits for the next year, or however you want to state it, not necessarily announced, to make sure his old practices are in compliance that are still have a lifespan.
So something about if we see by December compliant, but we will continue to monitor for compliance throughout the next however long. Is that what
I would, that seems to be the concern of the neighbors that I've talked with. So, hey, he can close the gates and say, I'm in compliance now. I want this at 100,000 plus. And I'm saying because he was known to break a rule that he knew he broke, that he should be subject to monthly spot checks if that can be worked into the staff to make sure he's in compliance.
I think that's a good idea.
So the thing is, if he gets this and he still continues to do the other garbage, I mean, it's like, okay, so what? We slap him on the wrist?
You all do have the right to cancel him.
Okay.
So do we need to amend my motion to make it 6 months, Rick, or what's your pleasure?
I think that for
I don't know that it needs.
Yeah, I think we don't need to amend the motion. I think just table it until December. But then if something arises in January or February or later, then we can take action to cancel, what we may approve in December, if that makes sense.
We're still sending the letter and the resolution, right?
Yeah, he has to get a certified letter saying he's out of compliance. And he has, per DCR code, he has up to 6 months to get into compliance. If he is not, then we can actually request return of cost share funds.
All right, well, let's put the resolution in there too. You said was required.
All right, the motion is to table the animal waste practice until December. Is that a correct reading of the motion? No comment, I assume it is. Are we ready to vote now?
I think so.
Okay. Going down the list, Wendy.
Yeah, yes.
Buzz.
Ah,
Buzz.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Darren.
Yes.
Rick. Audio was terrible, but I assume that one was a yes.
Mine was a yes.
Okay, motion passed. Next item. I guess moving to the approvals list.
All right. So on your screen, you see the list of approvals, and I'll go ahead and make the motion that we approve the BMPs as listed with the exception of contract 41210046.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made and properly seconded to approve the BMP practices with the exception of that one contract. Rick?
Yes.
Darren?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Buzz?
Yes.
DeBose?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, I'll make the motion that we approve the one conservation plan that was written this month.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the one conservation plan. Wendy?
Yes.
DeBose?
Yes.
Buzz?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Darren?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Motion passed. Next
All
item.
right. And the next one are two tax credit certificates. I make the motion that we approve these two as listed.
I'll second that motion.
A motion to approve tax credits, tax credit certificate.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. That concludes the approvals.
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
We haven't voted on it. I thought somebody said something.
Sorry.
Okay. Ready to vote on it. Rick?
Yes.
Darren?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Buzz?
Yes.
DeBose?
Yes.
And Wendy?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
All right, thank you. Mark spoke a little bit about the TAC meeting held on November the 4th.
Hang on, Bobby, we have DuPont separate, actually, if you see the red page.
Okay, thank you.
Hot off the press, their decision came yesterday, so that's why they're separate. This, you should be able to see, this is the list of so far the practices the DuPont trustees have approved for additional funding at the DuPont rate. We are waiting on a decision for 3. So I believe I actually, hang on one second, I have also in the agenda about the DuPont submissions. We might need to approve or appoint someone to approve those additional 3 practices. There was 3 they're still discussing. If the decision comes on them before the December 15th meeting, we felt these people have been waiting on a decision. We should not hold them up just because they got their decision in Thursday and we met today. But this is the list of everyone that's been approved. Just for your consideration, the total VAX cost share dollar amount and the total DuPont cost share dollar amount are at the bottom because it is a large list.
Rachel, were there any surprises in this?
They're waiting. There were 3 practices that they had further questions for me on yesterday. One was a animal winter feeding facility in Mount Solon. They questioned, that was the only project we were submitting from that area and wanted to know just why that one. There was a 10-foot buffer SL6N they were questioning, just because that's not a high priority practice for them. And then there was another SL6N 10-foot buffer that was for, was a small female farmer we put in, she was in the service area. She had, I think, 8 cows and 6 horses. They were in a priority in a South River watershed, but wanted to know if that participant would participate without additional cost share.
Okay.
So I answered their questions. They said they'll get back to us as soon as we can. So those 3 are not on this list pending their decision.
Okay.
So when did they approve almost 300,000 as opposed to the 200,000?
So this amount does not include them on the list. We were obligated 400,000. 48,000 of that will go towards technical assistance, and the rest of that is available for cost share.
All right.
I'll make the motion. We approve these DuPont projects as listed.
I'll second that motion.
All right, the motion to approve the projects as listed. The 3 Rachel, do you need somebody, do we need a separate motion to approve somebody to
Yeah, we will.
okay. The 3 are not listed in.
We need to vote.
You need to vote on this one, Otis.
I recognize that. The 3 that you have questions about are not in this list?
They are not.
Okay.
If they come to us, the staff is suggesting either district chair, cost share committee chair, executive committee, somehow there is an appointed to look at those 3 that is before the December 15th meeting.
Okay. That will be the next motion.
Yes.
The motion made and properly seconded to approve the listed projects. Wendy,
Yes.
DeBose,
Yes.
Buzz,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
and Rick. I assume it was.
Did you hear me? Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Now we need to deal with the 3,
I'm assuming I can make this motion. I'll make the motion that the Ag and Cost Share Chairman be able to make to approve the 3 that's not listed in consultation with the chairman of the board.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made, properly seconded, to allow the, Bobby in consultation. Can't even talk this morning. Consultation with Rick, to approve those 3 projects. Any further discussion on that? Rick?
Yeah.
Aaron? Aaron, how did he vote?
Or you talking to me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you vote? Okay, Bobby,
Yes.
Buzz,
Yes.
DeBose,
Yes.
and Wendy.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. I think we're done with approvals now. Am I right, Rachel?
So you're good. Sorry for the confusion, but like I said, it was hot off the press and I didn't get it in my other document.
Gotcha. Thank you. So Mark spoke a little bit about the TAC meeting on November the 4th. Do you have anything to add to that, Rachel?
Like he said, if you all want the specification, we can get it for you. Just in general, that is a temporary fencing that can be right at the top of the bank of the stream bank. It pays $250 for a fence charger, 30 cents per foot of fence. Then they are eligible to re-enroll in CCI.
Can that temporary fencing include interior cross fence?
That is not spelled in the spec. It should only be the actual exclusion fencing. They could apply for the SL7 if they want interior cross fencing.
Okay.
But it is, since it's supposed to be a temporary fix, it is on the participant to find an alternative watering source for the cattle.
Okay. Any questions on that? All right, and the end of lifespan verifications were completed with DCR. Rachel, can you tell us about that?
This is for a lot of our structural practices, the extreme exclusions and the animal wastes to keep credit in the Chesapeake Bay model. They have to be verified when they're out of lifespan. So the 2020s were completed and they're going to go ahead and start some of the 2021s. We don't expect an animal waste building to be tear down in a year. And this is actually how we found that non-compliance issue we talked about earlier today.
All right. That concludes the report.
I just want to say kudos. Yeah, kudos to the staff got this done. That's great.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You got a top-notch staff.
Amen.
Okay, thank you, Bobby.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on to resource management plan, Matt. He's not with us. Urban conservation, DeBose.
They're not doing any projects. They're helping the leaf collection for the city.
Okay. Thank you, DeBose. Forestry and riparian buffer, Charlie's not here. Easements, Charlie's not here. Land use, Charles Horn's not here. Your water forum, Dave has already talked about that, so I'm not gonna say anything more. Other business, Area 1 winter business meeting on 11/19. That's Thursday. It's Zoom. So
You should have gotten a link to register. Please register for that meeting if you plan to attend.
okay. Strategic planning for 21 through 24. We've got the next meeting scheduled for what, December
1st?
December the 1st. FOIA training, director training. After a lot of head scratching and questions, we finally figured out that Rhonda, all the directors have taken FOIA training, need to report that to Rhonda. She's got a folder that will click. Certification. I've got one more item on here, and that's the nominating committee for officers for 2021. And Rick, unless you have objections, I'm going to ask that Dave, Jim, and Judy serve on that committee, with Dave being the chairman, and have them report back out at the
Outstanding.
Huh? I'm sorry.
Outstanding.
Okay.
Yeah, state that
that-
again.
That's the same ones I had, Jim.
Can you state that again? I couldn't hear you.
It's outstanding.
You want the names of the people again, Rhonda? Is that what you wanted?
Yes, please. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, Dave Mangum as chairman, Jim Bowen and Judy Burtner. Did you get all that?
before?
Did you get that, Rhonda?
Yes, I have Dave Magman as the chairman and Jim Bolin and Judy Burtner.
Yes. All right, is there any other business to come before us?
I move the meeting be adjourned.
Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Yeah.